Okay, we're back. I apologize for that.
Boom, whap, snap. He was like,
Silly me. Everything should have still saved, though, so we'll be fine on that end. Anyway, did it all save? Yeah, we're good. I clicked X Factor database. I was supposed to click the stats. That was the issue. Players of the week: Dak Prescott, Isaiah Thomas, Kyle Duggar, and Joey Bosa. Danny suggests we check standings. I think that's a pretty good idea. So let's remind ourselves of where we are. Wow, there's after us and the Eagles. Wow, the Eagles are 3 games ahead of everybody in the NFC, and we're a game and a half ahead of the Chargers. So right now, the Eagles and Bengals are kind of running away with the number 1 seeds. I think we have like the best point differential, like by far. Partly because we've had some complete blowouts. Anyway, the Bengals comfortably lead the North. Steelers and Steamers going after playoff spots, but this is very much Cincinnati's division to lose. The Texans, under 500, lead the South. This division does not make sense to me. The Bills are in first place, actually it's a 3-way tie with the Bills, the Pats, and the Orbits, and the Jets are only 2 back. And then the Chargers are starting to pull away here in the West, 2.5 games ahead of the Raiders and the Broncos. The Explorers are a game ahead of Minnesota, who's quietly 7-4. Monarchs still in the race. Dreadnoughts are a game ahead of the Desperados and the Geagles. We thought this was a 2-way race, but the Desperados are alive and well. The Eagles are 3.5 ahead of the Cowboys, and they swept them. So this division race looks like it might be over. And then Seattle is a game ahead of OKC. San Francisco also still in the race. Is this the week that the playoff picture is available, by the way? It is. Awesome. So this is where we're currently at. Bengals and Eagles are in first place. The Desperados have made it up to 7. The Geagles aren't even here. How the mighty have fallen. Seattle, Dallas, part 4, 3? I don't know. I've lost count. We would almost just have to watch this whole game just because. And then here's the AFC. A whole lot worse than the NFC. All right, on to week 13. So this is probably a week where we just straight through sim. I don't think there's a game that we feel like we can't miss. Mexico-Austin's pretty important, but I think this is a week where we full-on sim. Any complaints? Going once, going twice? If your team doesn't have 2 of the top 3 sack getters, you're a loser. All right, we're going to start with the Bengals. Show me a win. Show me double digits. I have a weird feeling about this. My spidey senses proved right. I'll give us a pass because our defense has been so good this year. I'll allow it. Daniel Godley played very well, as did Denton Sens IV. The Bengals are still very much in first place. We're still very much ahead of the Bills, but I don't like that we're losing a little ground. But it's fine. We've played really well. We can afford to take a week off. We can't lose again, though. And we have a tough game next week. I think the part that I'm upset that we lost with is because the Raiders beat us in the playoffs last year. That's the sucky part. All right, the Bills might be back. Oh dear, that's not good. We're still 2 games ahead of Buffalo with 5 weeks to go. So we should probably finish ahead of them, but I would feel a lot better about it had we won. Broncos, country, let's ride. They beat Baltimore. Chargers had a bye week. So we're still, what, a game ahead of the Chargers? Yeah. Colts lose to Carolina. The Panthers have won 2 in a row. Wow, okay. The Commies beat the red-hot Cougars. Steven Universe and Mac Jones both played quite well. JoJo Earl of the big game. Cowboys beat Minnesota. Good win for Dallas. They're now 9-4. Minnesota comes back down to earth after their big win streak. The Desperados. Their win streak is over. They lose to the Eagles. Massive win for Mexico. They needed that one badly. The Dreadnoughts beat the Texans. San Antonio's still in first, and Houston still stinks. And they might still be in first place, too, for God knows what reason. Sean Tucker really is the backbone of this entire team. He gets hurt, and they fall apart. The Eagles remain undefeated. They are 12-0. They have a fairly tough schedule to end the year. The Eagles is a hard game. Orbits is no easy feat. Lions, they should win. Dreadnoughts, that's going to be really tough. And then the Jets, I wouldn't sleep on them either. Explorers lose to the Niners. Massive win for San Francisco against a good Columbus team who was 8-3. Justin Pope got sacked 6 times, and they still won. Why can't I get the Explorers schedule? The Explorers get to have the NFC North, so that's why. Niners won. The Texans lost. They suck. Jets beat the Titans in overtime, 37-31. Big game from Desmond Ridder. Walt Byron played well, too. Breece Hall with a good game. He's not hurt, by the way, in case you were wondering. That might have already been established, though. Detroit, bye week. Monarchs had a bye week. The Nighthawks beat the Steelers. Big win for OKC. Hayden Callaway and Travis Flight played really well. OFL AFC South equals the NFC South. Who would have thought the AFC South would be the worst division? I mean, to be fair, I guess we only thought, whoa, Jordan Addison, hello. And Chris Godwin was great, too. I guess we only really expected one team in the AFC South to be good since the Titans, they kind of lost everything. But depending on one team is a bit much. Even if that one team we know is going to be good and then wasn't. Oilers beat the Steamers. Big win in the AFC wildcard race for the Oilers, and they are now tied with the Texans for first place in the division. How do you know JSN got hurt again? Is it possible that he just had a quiet game? Sometimes receivers have games where they catch 2 passes. It happens. Orbits. Did we see them? Yeah, we saw that. They lost to the Bills. Panthers are red hot. They've won 2 in a row. New England lost. The Raiders won. The Raiders have won 3 in a row against the top 2 teams in the AFC and the Texans. Rams lose to Seattle in overtime, so the Seahawks are still in first place. Godwin is in the slot. I mean, it's possible Godwin just had a big game on the outside. We can check. I guess he could have gotten hurt, because Godwin is the next slot receiver for you, I'm pretty sure. All right, that's everyone. Did the Bills play this week? They did. They beat the Orbits. I'm going to click Stats and not X Factor Database this time. Players of the week. Dak Prescott again. Daniel Godley again. Along with Trey Hendrickson had 6 sacks. Mother of God. And David Long. Daniel Godley's won 2 Player of the Weeks to this stream. How about you guys stop sleeping? Was he good the other 2 games? No, he was not. Oh, wait, no, we're only doing... I feel like we should just check standings like every week from now on since we're towards the end of the year. Bengals are still in first place in the division and conference despite losing. Let's make a deal. Bench Godley for... Why would I do that? I'm 9-3 and in first place. If I was 12-0, maybe I would consider it. The Oilers are in first place of the AFC South. Houston still is the significantly better point differential and the better team. Got to assume they win this division, but they have struggled as of recent. Bills are back in first place of the East. Oh, God. The sleeping giant has awoken. Raiders and Broncos are catching up a little bit to the Chargers. How is there nobody close to us? The Chargers are 1 back. The Bills are 2 back. I do not want to play the Bills on the road. If we play in Buffalo, we're losing. Season's over. Explorers are still a game ahead in the North. Dreadnoughts are a game ahead of the Eagles in the South. The Eagles can clinch the division with a win, and then Seattle, they're still a game ahead of the Nighthawks. Nobody respects the Chargers. The Chargers had the AFC West schedule. Why would Ion purposely lose? I get nothing out of it other than to help you, which doesn't benefit me. If you make the playoffs, great. I don't really care. It does not. Here, we can check my schedule. I don't see how it benefits me, though. The Explorers, the Steelers, the Niners, and the Chargers. These teams are all either in the playoffs or close. I don't have an easy game the rest of the way. Anyway, week 14. Eagles, for sure on the list. Eagles can clinch the division. I'll put the Bills and Pats in there. I think that game's going to be important. I'll put the Steelers and Texans in there, and then I'll throw the Nighthawks and the Bengals. I would vote for the Eagles and the Eagles, but, like, I feel like it'd be more fun to beat Frank in the Simcast, even though he is a sim merchant. I'll vote for our game, even though I don't think it's going to win. I see 1 for Eagles. 2 for Eagles. 2 for our game. Three for Bengals Nighthawks. Okay, now I'm a little scared. Because Frank is a Simcast merchant. I think I can still beat him in the Simcast, though. I beat Seattle. I can do it. 3 for Eagles, switching to the Bengals Nighthawks. 4 for that. 5 for Bengals Nighthawks. Okay, it looks like our game's going to win. Who day? Number generator lands on 1. I think we're the road team. No, it's them. Okay. Big game here for both teams. The Bengals coming off a loss. Can't really afford to lose again. At least in the near future. We're still in first place in the conference. But I want there to be enough breathing room for us and Buffalo. I don't even care for like the 3 seed. As long as we're ahead of the Bills, that's all I care about. I do not want to travel to their place. Nighthawks is going to be a tough game, though. They have to win here. They're 7-5, right in the thick of things within the NFC playoff picture. We should have looked at the playoff picture before we hopped in. Oh, well, it's fine. You guys are 8-4. Yeah, you've played really well today. You lost against us, but other than that, you've won like 5 of 6. Okay, good play. I think I saw a big run from Josh Jacobs. Very good start. Only a field goal, though. Good. Not a bad first half for Daniel and the boys. 27-3. Don't choke it, though. Yeah, this is a massacre. I think we can simulate right through. Okay, maybe not. We'll go a little slower. It's a 2-score game. Penalty. If we score on this drive, it's over. Good play on 3rd and 9. Deshaun Groves for 26. Yeah, it's over. This was supposed to be the bad Daniel Godley game. It's every other week with him. 1 week he wins Player of the Week. The next week he sucks. This was supposed to be the sucky week. So the Bengals hammer the Nighthawks 37-16. Could this be a foreshadowing of OFL 24? With Frank and I possibly in the same division? Who knows? I beat these guys in the preseason and the regular season. We owned them. Daniel Godley didn't even have that crazy of a game. He played fairly well. I'll take this as a win. It's the sucky week, all right. Sucky, 10 bucky. What's going on, FG? Travis Flight, on the other hand, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't much worse than Godley. Josh Jacobs played out of his mind. Love to see it. Why are you allowing 3 sacks, Noel? I see some big numbers for the other guys. Aiden Hutchinson had a big game. The rookie, Fanu Oloroso, with 3 sacks. Daniel Godley, I was not familiar. This was Godley's 3rd best game of the day. That's the weird part. Because he's already had 2 Players of the Weeks. He's also had 2 games where he's looked like trash. But he's won Player of the Week twice today. I'm a Godley apologist. I apologize. Why are you guys jumping on the bandwagon now? This was his 3rd best game today. I mean, I'm not complaining. Welcome to the club. We're still accepting fan club members, so it's fine. All right, let's take a look at Week 14. If the Bills lose, I might bust. Frank talked all that talk, but he couldn't walk the walk. Oilers. They lose to the Dreads by 1. So San Antonio hangs on. Did Justin Herbert get hurt? So Kevin Shasha came in, and he played fine. Shout out, Kevin. It helps me push agendas now. Do I see that the Panthers won again? They've won 3 in a row. Good for Carolina. Doesn't mean anything, but good for them. Orbits beat the Ravens. Yeah, the Panthers have won 3 in a row. Wow. I also see that the Eagles lost. Buffalo won. The Bills are back. They're back in business. We're still 2 ahead of them, though, with 4 weeks to go, so that's good. Josh Allen got sacked 8 times. That's fun. I kind of want to check this Eagles score next, now that everybody's saying they lost. I told you about the Panthers. 3.5 sacks from Micah Parsons. All right, let's check on the Eagles. Now, the Eagles could still clinch the division with a Dallas loss. I think Dallas might have their bye week, or that might have been last week. 35-32. Mahomes played really well, as did Dak. The Eagles started to stream off slowly, but they are back in business. And we are not going to have any undefeated teams here. It appears I forgot to check Danny's game. I apologize. I'll do that now. That's the wrong game. I kind of wanted to see the Eagles go undefeated because we haven't had it, but oh well. I figured it was unlikely. Since this is a special season, can I change my playbook to the Chiefs? No. It's special, but it's not that special. You can change it once we get to the playoffs, if you even make it. But you had 2 days to change it. Where were we? We were on New England. They lost to the Bills. The Raiders lose to Detroit. Their win streak's over. They beat all these good teams, and then they lose to the Lions. Rams had a bye. Orbits lost. We saw that. The Seahawks beat the Steamers. So Seattle's 2 games ahead of OKC in the West. Seattle can clinch the division with a win against OKC, and I think they play each other this week. I know we've already done OKC and Seattle games today, both of them losing to us, tee-hee-hee. But this game decides the division. Yeah, they play each other this week. The Snowhawks beat the Broncos. Steamers lost. The Texans are just pathetic. This team is so weird. Did the Oilers lost, right? The winner of the AFC South legitimately might have 6 wins. Tennessee lost. Oh my God, this division's so terrible. The Chargers beat the Vikings, so we're still only a game ahead of the Chargers. Colts had a bye week. Commies had a bye week. Jets beat the Cougars. Big win for the Jets. Desmond Ridder starting to peak at the right time. He had a great game. Probably is going to win Player of the Week. Divisions are dumb agendas in full force. That's honestly kind of true. Dallas. We did not see them because they didn't play. Desperados won. Dreadnoughts won. Eagles lost. Oh my God, 49-7. The Explorers woke up all right. Are you in the playoffs still? You guys are 7-6. I would guess not, but maybe. I mean, we'll check. Don't worry. Niners, we know, lost. The Eagles won. The Jets won. Lions won. Monarchs lost. That brings us back to the Nighthawks. Dallas won their bye week. They did win their bye week because the Eagles lost. Now, the Eagles can still clinch the division with a win, but still. Players of the week: Caleb Williams, Desmond Ridder, Aiden Hutchinson, and Matthias Zerberg. Travis Slight's passer rating is still 110, even after that awful game. Good for him. All right, we'll start with standings, then we'll look at playoff picture. The Eagles are in. They have punched their ticket to the playoffs. They didn't make it last year, but they are back in it. Don't worry. I don't know if you guys heard a sound. Don't worry. The Bengals can clinch the division with a win this week. Very exciting. The Oilers at 5-8 lead the AFC South. Texans, please take us out of our misery, please. The Bills are a game ahead of the Orbits in the East. Yeah, the Bills are back. And then the Chargers, 9-4, are pretty close to clinching the West. The Explorers are ahead of the Vikings by 2 games. The NFC South is probably the most interesting division we have here. He's so mad about the Eagles, he smashed his desk. The Dreadnoughts are 10-3. Eagles are a game back. Desperados are 2 back. And then the Eagles can still clinch the division with a win over Dallas. Seattle, meanwhile, 2-game lead in the West over the Nighthawks. We're getting Dallas and Seattle 3. It's happening, guys. It's happening. Are they still projected to play each other? Oh, man. Instead, we get Todd versus Hector. So that means Seattle's out. Okay, interesting. Ah, yes, the greatest game. The Oilers and the Orbits. The Orbits are the number 1 wild card at 7-6. They wouldn't even be in the playoffs in the NFC. Our conference is so Mickey Mouse. All right, on to week 15. This might be, I would say this is a week that we would straight sim, but we do have some big games, so I'll let you guys decide again. I'll throw, we've already done the Bengals twice. I don't think the Bengals will win. I'll still put this game's hat in the ring, because both teams are pretty good. Obviously this game. Ooh. I would say the 2 choices are Seattle and OKC and the Bills and Dreadnoughts. So, okay, everyone wants to sim. Never mind. This could be a sim week. If Seattle wins, they do clinch their division, for what it's worth. Alrighty, here we go. And we're going to start with the Seattle game, too. So we're going to find out right away. What happened with Seattle? Oh! Okay. The Nighthawks back on track, 45-30. Now, Seattle still is the inside track, but OKC is a pulse again. Travis Flight played very well. This could be an MVP moment. Bryce Young was fine, too. Big game for Chris Godwin. He had 161. JSN's not hurt, by the way. Chris Godwin's just him. We're tanking to get the Dallas game. This was the best case scenario for anyone who wants Dallas versus Seattle. So, I guess that includes me, because I want to see those teams play each other again. The Oilers lose to the Eagles. This means if the Texans lose, then everybody in the AFC South will be guaranteed to finish under 500. Yeah, the winner of this division might actually have 6 wins. I'm not even joking. That's wild. Orbits, number 1 wild card in the AFC. They beat the Eagles! What is going on in Philadelphia? They are still very clearly the number 1 seed, but still. Me and Octi are the only people. No one else wants Dallas versus Seattle? That's crazy. That game would be cinema. I would legitimately watch that whole game and disrupt the flow of our playoff sim just because it'd be so fun. The Panthers' win streak is over. They lose to the Cougars. After scores, put Ayuk in the slot. Gotcha. The Jets win again. New England's lost 4 in a row. Remember when they were tied with Buffalo in the division? That was fun. Yeah, Desmond Ridder has, in fact, peaked at the right time. He is on fire. We thought the Jets were dead. They now have a pulse as well. I think they're, 7-7? They're very much back in it. Raiders beat the Snowhawks. Good win for them. The Rams lose to the Steelers. Steelers had to win that game. Big win. The Ravens beat the Monarchs. The Monarchs are so weird. Yeah, I don't think they have much of a shot now. Dallas versus Seattle is appointment viewing. I don't care if it disrupts the whole flow of what that stream would be. We're watching it. Regardless of what round it is, whether you guys play each other in the wild card round or later, we're watching it. Probably. Snowhawks lost. The Niners lose to... No, the Steamers lose to the Niners. I got myself mixed up. Big win for San Fran. Big loss for Memphis. I think this game kind of just shows how the NFC is better than the AFC because the Steamers are like either in the playoffs or one of the first teams out, and the Niners are like a little ways out in the NFC, but the Niners are also very clearly better. Steelers. Texans, for the love of God, please win. I hate this team so much. They have not won today. So, first place in the AFC South is 5-9. The Titans lost to the Colts. This division is so pathetic. Oh my God. Minnesota beats Detroit. Good God, the Bengals demolished the Explorers. I was not convinced that we're the favorite in the AFC. I think we are now. Holy cow. Another great game from Daniel Godley. He heard the haters. He's had 4 phenomenal games today. Hector Estrada, meanwhile, was not so good. It would take a lot at this point for the Bengals not to get the number 1 seed, and we do clinch the division, by the way. Although I think we do anyway with the Steamers and the Steelers. Or wait, no, the Steelers won. Never mind. Did that say 7? No, that said 2. I'm farther away from my screen than normal. That's why I thought it said 7. The Chargers have words to say about your claims. Well, the Chargers have to win. If they do win, then, maybe they do. Because they would only be 1 back. The Bills have won 4 in a row. Yeah, they are fully back, if they weren't already. I really thought the Bills were going to fall off the face of the earth. Actually, who am I kidding? No, I didn't. So that means the Geagles and the Dreadnoughts are tied again. Denver lost to the Chargers. The Chargers are still only 1 back. Maybe I shouldn't have been talking smack just now. Who do the Chargers have the rest of the way? I know our schedule is hard. I also want to see who the Bills have the rest of the way. The Bills could theoretically catch us, which would make me very sad. The Titans, the Commies... Ooh, this is tough. The Titans aren't good. The Commies are on paper good, and then Dallas obviously is quite good. And then who do the Chargers have? Orbits, Ravens... Ooh! This game could decide the number 1 seed. If both teams win out, this game decides the number 1 seed. Interesting. Very interesting. Colts won. Is that their first win since like week 3? Yes, it is. Good for the Colts. The Commanders get throttled by the Cowboys. So the Eagles still have not been able to clinch the division yet. Dallas is still hanging on for a thread. Now, the Eagles are still win and clinch, or Dallas loses and they clinch. But they should have clinched like 2 weeks ago. Cougars won, we saw that. We saw that. We saw that. Yup. Go Bengals. Yup. Did we see this? Yes, we did. We saw that. We saw that. Yep, that's everyone. If Daniel Godley wins another Player of the Week, then he probably is going to be in the MVP race. I don't think he will. He only threw 3 touchdowns. I say only. Yeah, Desmond Ridder threw 5. Okay, I forgot. Dak Prescott wins his 3rd Player of the Week of today, for what it's worth. Dak's very much in the MVP race. Desmond Ridder might be too at this point. Joey Bosa wins for a 2nd straight, or no, didn't he win one earlier? Oh, that's week 12. Wow, we are moving fast. Along with TJ Watt. All right, let's put Ayuk in the slot, and let's check where we are standings-wise with 3 weeks to go. I say we do 1 more straight sim and 1 more regular week, and then week 18 we'll reevaluate where we are. He's not on the Niners. Why did I go to the Niners? This isn't real life, damn it. Oh, he is in the slot. Okay. Never mind. Nighthawks, Bengals, Niners. I can't read. Nighthawks, Bengals, Monarchs are my last 3 games. Good luck. So we know the Bengals have clinched. Nobody else has, though. It's just us and the Eagles. Can I make Henry 3rd down and power back? I sure can. So the Bengals are the first team to clinch the division, and we do the inside track for the number 1 seed, but if we lose to the Chargers week 18, things could get weird. This division's pathetic. I don't even want to talk about it. The Bills are still only a game ahead of the Orbits, who are playing quietly well. The Chargers clinched the division with a win. You guys haven't clinched, but you guys are in. It would take an absolute miracle for you guys not to win the division, so you guys are fine. The Explorers are a game ahead of the Vikings. Kevin isn't the coach, but he still claims the Chargers. This roster is his team. If the Chargers won the championship, I would count it as a Kevin reign. Put it that way. The Dreadnoughts and the Eagles are tied. Desperados are only one back. The Desperados are 9-5, and they started like 0-3 too. The Eagles are still winning clinch, but Dallas is catching up. And then Seattle is a game ahead of OKC. San Francisco's climbing back. As for the playoff picture, this is what we've got. The Desperados are 9-5, and they're the 7th seed. Yeah, in the AFC, we have the Orbits with 8 wins. They're the number 1 wild card, facing off against the 5-9 Oilers. Put JSN in the slot. Got it. You should already be there, but why are you still at 6? Because Dallas beat you, and they I think they had the same record. Oh, we're already on the Nighthawks. What am I thinking? You can win out and miss the playoffs. Yeah, that is true. Need Hector to jump the Cowboys. We need Seattle, Dallas like I need air. I told you, I put JSN as the starting slot. The game might have switched it. You know how Madden 23 is with their depth charts. I didn't put Ayuk in the slot because he already is. Which we did just check like 3 minutes ago. All right, let's check week 16 and 17 together. Let's see which games we would want. I'll put this game in the range, Chargers Orbits. The Jets and Commies are both hanging. I mean, the Commies are hanging on by a thread. The Jets, not so much. The Jets are very much alive. We'll put this game's hat in the ring, though. Nighthawks Niners, obviously. And then week 17, I'll go with the Explorers and Geagles. Sure, why not? Niners, Bengals. I guess the Texans and the Nighthawks, and then the Eagles and the Dreads. I think those are all the really good ones. Completely missed out. Oh, is Dallas playing Austin? You're right. We'll add that. Yes. Cowboys and I'm not used to having the Desperados being good. Truthfully. Okay, I named like 8 games. I need to narrow it to like 4. We'll do Dallas, Austin. OKC, San Fran. Explorers, Geagles. And Eagles, Dreads. Seems like everyone wants the Eagles and Dreads. That's a good choice. No complaints. Dallas, Austin's a good one too, though. Now that Austin's like good. Who do we play this week again? We play someone good. Because all of our games are hard. Oh, we played the Steelers. That's right. Yeah, so all the AFC wildcard teams are rooting for us. Welcome to the wagon, gentlemen. Yeah, it seems like everyone wants the Eagles and the Dreads. That's fine by me. So we'll simulate week 16. Oh, wait, no, we already beat the Steelers this year, so that means we're going to lose because we always split them. Damn. Sorry, guys. I hate to break it to you, but we're not going to win this week. Now I just need a Chargers loss and a Bills loss. Particularly the Bills. I do not want them ahead of us. The Oilers won! So they're still in first place. No matter what happens with the Texans. Because I think they had the tiebreaker as of now. Right? Yes. The Week 18 game probably decides the division. The stoppable force against the movable object. The Orbits, ooh, they beat the Chargers. So the Orbits are still very much in 5th place. The Orbits are in a great spot right now. They're 9-6. They should get a playoff spot. Why did I skip the Nighthawks game? Oh, my bad. We'll get back to that in a second. The Chargers still can clinch the division with a Raiders loss, so they're still fine. Let's check in on OKC. Ooh, San Francisco! The Niners with a big win Both teams are now 8-7. Travis Flight put up another stinker. He's had 2 stinkers today. These 2 games are worse than what Daniel Godley's ever done, and that says something because he's had some really bad games, but not this bad. Why are the Texans 5-10? The Texans are pathetic. That's why. Sorry, C-Mill. I hate to break it to you. Yeah, the Niners swept them. Wow. So they're both 8-6, and San Fran has the tiebreaker. OKC plays the Texans. The Texans, that's a must-win game for them, so I wouldn't rule it out. And then the Explorers, that's a hard game. Yeah, Seattle clinches the division, by the way, with OKC losing. Right? I think so. Unless my math is wrong, Seattle should clinch their division. Where were we? We were with the Orbits. We split you. You're right. I'm dumb. Still, big win for San Fran. I get confused when I'm looking at like certain teams' things. My bad. This is a lot of information to take in quickly. It can get overwhelming. Wow. The Panthers have won 4 of 5. Nobody wants to win the NFC South, I'm afraid. Bailey Gabriel with 6 touchdowns. Dak had 4. Split the whole division. Impressive. New England. The Texans are so bad. The Oilers are in next week. Actually, no, they're not. They still play week 18. Never mind. The Oilers are in a good spot, though. Put it that way. The Raiders lose to the Explorers. So there you go. The Chargers have clinched their division. They are in. Ravens beat the Rams. Rams lose to... Wait, no. The Rams beat the Ravens, not the other way around. See, it's confusing. Seattle beats Minnesota. I think this means Seattle officially does clinch the division, so they are back in. Every team who either has clinched their division or probably will clinch their division this week, cough, cough, Philadelphia, they didn't win their divisions last year. The Seahawks didn't, we didn't, and the Chargers didn't, and the Eagles didn't. Good for us. Snowhawks. Kill Memphis. Oh, my Lord. 42-10. Austin losing feeds families. Dallas losing helps you as much as Austin. Actually, wait, no. Dallas is 10-4. Never mind. Yeah, no, you want an Austin loss. I thought for a second they were tied. Steamers lost. They've lost 4 in a row. Ouch. I told you guys we weren't going to beat the Steelers. I don't know why anyone would be surprised by this. We lose to them every year. Godley was fine. This might be the first mediocre game he's had all year. He wasn't bad. He wasn't good. He was fine. I told you guys this was going to happen, though. We lose to the Steelers every year. It's an annual tradition. So if the Bills win, they're only 1 back of us. Jesus Christ. I hope we had the conference tiebreaker over them, or else I'm officially, nervous. If I win next week, is the conference decided week 18? Yes. If you guys win or we lose, that game decides the number 1 seed unless the Bills have something to say about it. Oh! Snap! The AFC South is so bad. So Buffalo's only a game back of us now. Jesus Christ. They scored 28 in the first quarter. If the Bills get the number 1 seed after all of this, I swear, I don't ask for much, but I just want to be ahead of the Bills. 3.5 sacks for Parsons. He might be the Defensive Player of the Year now. 3 for Anderson. So the Chargers and Bills are both a game behind us. Ouch. Why couldn't we have just won? I mean, I get we lose to the Steelers every year, but still. At least our last 2 games are at home. Bench Michaels with Sam Howell. Got it. Yeah, the Bills have won 5 in a row. At least their schedule's hard. Dallas, please win. Please. Please. I beg. The Broncos beat the Monarchs. Bills decided, all right, it's time to get serious again. They saw they were 5-5, and they were like, yeah, I think now is where we turn it up. So the Bills are very much alive and well. And I think the Bills are the favorite in the AFC again. Not so much because we have played poorly, because we've not. I'm still very pleased with how we've played. It's more so that like the Bills are playing really well too, and if both teams are playing well, the Bills are the favorite because they've proven that they can do it. If I miss the playoffs, will I be the best coach in OFL 23 to never make the playoffs? I would say definitely. I mean, to be fair, there aren't many choices, but you would definitely be the best because your team's in 91. Why can't the Chargers play somebody good next week? Why does it have to be Baltimore? The Colts lose to the Oilers. We saw that. The Commies beat the Jets. Ooh, big win for the Commies. Big loss for the Jets. The Desmond Ridder MVP hype has taken a halt, it looks like. We can check how many coaches have played in the playoffs or not. Although I think like the playoff records are like glitched because I was looking at them before the start of the year. All the wins and losses are even. So for example, it says the Bills are 6-6, even though in all actuality they're like 6-1. Najee has not been the best running back in the league. He's close. He's not better than Josh Jacobs, and I think Nick Chubb has still been better. Dreads beat the Cougars. Big win for the Dreads. Danny, PPJ, and Pokemon. Pokemon made the playoffs, Season 3. They were the 7th seed. And Pepperjack probably is going to make it this year. And Pepperjack made it in Season 1. Hobie isn't here. He was here, wasn't he? Maybe not. Oh, well. My bad. The Cowboys beat the Desperados. So Dallas is... They're in a good spot. They're probably going to get 5th, which means we need Seattle in 4th. What is our record? You guys are 10-5. You've won 5 in a row after going on a 3-game losing streak, and you are in 1st place. You guys are tied with the Chargers for the 2nd seed and a game behind us. You swept the Cowboys? Yes, you did. You guys started like, what, 12-0? You've lost 2 in a row, and we haven't gotten to your game this week. Which you won. So the Eagles have officially clinched the division. I imagine this means the Eagles clinched the number 1 seed as well. I don't think anybody can pass them. So the Eagles at 13-2 are the top seed in the conference. The NFC runs through Philadelphia. Caleb Williams throws 4 picks. Mahomes throws 5 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown with a giant game. DJ Reed, 2 interceptions. Explorers won, we saw that. The Niners won. The Eagles lost. Jets lost. Lions lost. Monarchs lost. And that brings us back to the Nighthawks, who also lost. Okay, we'll check players of the week, and then we'll check the playoff situation. Like, playoff record. Bailey Gabriel, Trey Lance, Kwity Paye, and Will Anderson. So, I know the coaching stats are kind of wrong, but how many coaches have not made the playoffs? The Snowhawks did. That's a lie. Colts has 1. The Lions did. Yeah, see, some of this is wrong. The Niners have not. That's 2. I don't think Carolina has. That's 3. Nick and Ader. The Desperados have not. That's 4. They probably will this year. The Ravens have. The Orbits... Have the Orbits never made it? I think they have. Right? They've had to have made it at least once. The Steamers made it. The Oilers made it. The Vikings made it. The Broncos made it, and the Explorers made it. That's not a lot of teams. The Desperados, I don't think, have. The Panthers have not. The Niners have not. And the Colts have not. Eagles don't clinch the 1 if they lose out and the Dreads win out. You might be right. Actually, yeah, because the Eagles play the Dreads this week. You're right. I can't count, apparently. I thought the Dreadnoughts were 3 games back. The Eagles clinch... Wait, have they not clinched the... Yes, they have. Yeah, because they swept Dallas. So the Eagles have clinched the division, even though it says they haven't. But the Dreads could still get the number 1. So I was wrong about that. Now, if the Eagles beat the Dreadnoughts this week, they officially get it for good. Anyway, AFC North. The Bengals, obviously, have already clinched the division. We're still in 1st place, but us losing this week does not help our case. This division's pathetic, but if the Oilers win and Texans lose, the Oilers clinch. The Bills can clinch the division with a win. The Chargers already have clinched the division. They are going for seeding. In the NFC, the Explorers can clinch the division with a win. Bengals are 8-1 on the road, and I do not care because it doesn't matter if we're in Buffalo. In the NFC South, the Dreadnoughts clinch the playoffs. They're still alive for the number 1 seed, but they would need to beat the Eagles this week. Eagles are a game back. Desperados are 2 back. Cowboys clinch a playoff spot, so they're going to be a wild card team no matter what. The Eagles have clinched the division. I know it says otherwise, but they did sweep them. And then in the West, Seattle has not officially clinched the division. I thought they did. But all they need is a win, and they're good. Nighthawks and Niners both technically still have a shot. The Eagles are 3-5 at home and 7-0 on the road. Assuming the Eagles don't win their division, they're probably going to play a lot of road playoff games, so that kind of works out. For them, at least. Here's a look at our playoff picture for Week 17. Number 1 seeds have not changed. The Bills climb up to 2. So I guess they have the tie. I want to check the tiebreaker situation with us, the Chargers, and the Bills, because the Bills scare me. They might get first place after all this. That would suck. And then here's the NFC. All right, let's start with it. I think it would be conference record. Shoot. The Bills, so it would be the Bills, then us, then the Chargers. Fantastic. Actually, we're only half a game back at the Bills. Okay. What is it after conference record? Is it common opponents? I don't feel like going through common opponents right now. Well, actually, before we go into Week 17, let's check who is behind in the wild card. So the 7th seed. How many teams are over 500? 5? Jeez. So I think the Raiders are in 7th. So the Broncos, Jets, and Pats are all tied for 7th. Wow, Denver, that's a surprise. Snowhawks and Steamers and the Oilers when are in the lead of their division. But these teams are all still in the race. Then in the NFC, Austin is 7th. The Nighthawks, Vikings, and Niners are 1 back. The Commies are 2 back. All right, so in Week 17, we have a couple of very important games. Explorers, Geagles. I'll put Washington and the Bills there. Niners, Bengals. Texans, Nighthawks. And then Eagles, Dreads. I have a feeling which game's going to win. Which is probably the right call. Eagles, Dreads, Niners, Bengals. My vote's for the Eagles and the Dreads. That's the best game here. Eagles, Dreads, Niners, Bengals has a couple votes. Okay, Eagles, Dreads it is. Number generator lands on 2. That's the Dreads. So if the Eagles win, they are officially the number 1 seed for good. If the Dreads win, then they can still get it. Why are you switching votes? Danny wants to be on the winning side of the vote. Let him cook. If the Dreads win this week and the Geagles lose, the Dreads officially clinch their division for good. The 2 best teams arguably in the NFC right now, possibly a playoff preview. The location of said game could very well be determined by the winner of this game. Dreads score first. That's the wrong button. Eagles tie it. Dreads only get a field goal. That was a long drive, but they get a touchdown right back, and they lead by 10. Eagles answer back, though. Dreads get a field goal and a quick touchdown and a 2. They're up by 14. The Eagles get one right back, though. The Dreadnoughts are in field goal range. They should score here. And they get a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster. The Eagles get one right back. We're going to simulate this drive because it's just them chewing clock. If they don't score, we're going to hop in. 3rd and 10. Incomplete. We're hopping in. And it's at the 1. What a punt by the Dreadnoughts. So the Eagles are going to have to go the entire length of the field. Not even 99 yards. It's like 99 and a half. They've got 3 timeouts, though. There's ETN. Looks like he's had a quiet game. These unit combos are disgusting. I am not feeling the black pants with the Eagles. And we already talked about this Dreadnoughts combo last stream. The gray pants and the blue jerseys don't work. You got to go all blue. Mahomes' numbers look pretty solid. He's only thrown the ball 23 times. But within those 23 throws, he's been very effective. Not only would the Eagles clinch the number 1 seed here, but they would also clinch the best record in the entire league because... Wait, would they? Yeah, they would, because they also are 2 games ahead of us. So they'd clinch the best record in the entire OFL. I know that doesn't, totally matter, but that's got to be cool, right? Up the middle, incomplete. Big set of plays here. 3rd and 7. Mahomes sails it downfield. How was that not intercepted? I think that's Nate Stevens. Had the ball smack dab in his hands. How did he not catch it? And now the game pretty much comes down to this. 4th and 7. Mahomes is incomplete. The Dreadnoughts get the stop. We'll see if they finish off the game here. They do. So the number 1 seed is still up for grabs with a week to go in the NFC. The Eagles are still in the powered position because they're still a game ahead of the Dreads. But if the Eagles lose and San Antonio wins, then it would go to the Dreadnoughts. Both quarterbacks had brilliant games between Hurts and Mahomes. Wouldn't mind seeing these two again in the playoffs. If they did meet, it would probably be in the conference championship, since now the Dreadnoughts are pretty much a lock to win the division. Put Godwin back in the slot. Can do. Did that say the Texans 5 and 10? Oh, let me show you what's going on in Houston. It's been quite the year for you guys. So don't worry, I haven't forgotten about your depth chart thing, Frank. But the Texans, yeah. We started the stream in week 10. You guys had a bye week. And since then, you've lost every game. And I'm now just realizing they've lost every game by no more than 10. Despite that, you still have a chance to win the division because the AFC South is so bad. If the Texans win out, they would win the division. Because the Oilers are only a game back. Or only a game ahead. So if the Texans win their last 2 games, they are going to win the division. At 7 and 10. EA Sports, everybody. Alright, it's Sim time. Please, for the love of God, beat the Niners. I kind of want to see the Niners make the playoffs, but it's not worth it for me to not be the number 1 seed. So the Eagles we already know. The Explorers lose to the Geagles. So we're talking about San Antonio clinching the number 1 seed. Now that the Geagles have won, they didn't even clinch their division. The Explorers still can, though, with the Vikings loss, ironically enough. Niners! Oh, God. The Bills are going to get the number 1 seed. After all of this! Yeah, Daniel Godley had another one of those stinkers. To his credit, it's been 5 weeks since he had a bad game. But now is not the time to do it, buddy. Jesus. The Bills are going to get number 1. If the Bills win out, they get the number 1 seed. Man, we had 3 games on them, too. Wait, you beat the Bills? Wait, hold on. Are you serious? Whatever you want from me, MP. Whatever you want. I got you. I will return the favor. I cannot believe the Bills lost. So we're still win and number 1 seed. I will give you whatever you need. You need a favor? I got it. So that means it is all down to week 18. Presumably, yeah. The winner of the Chargers-Bengals game probably gets the number 1 seed. Even if the Chargers lose today, it doesn't really matter what the Chargers do in week 17. Anyway, the Eagles, we saw that. They won. The Jets beat New England. Massive win for the Jets. The winner of this game had to win. Wow, thanks, Sherlock. That's quite the insightful analysis from me. As I should have said, both teams had to win this game. The Jets do. We'll see if the Jets can finish off the job in week 18 against the Eagles. Poor Jets. Detroit beats the Steamers. The Steamers are out. If they weren't already out, this is it. This is the end of the road for Memphis. Pokemon type of analysis. The winner of this game won. More like Magic Johnson analysis. The Monarchs lost to the Cougars. The Texans won. They did it. Houston's won a game. So this means no matter what happens with the Oilers this week, if Houston beats the Oilers in week 18, they win the division at 7-10. And now the Nighthawks they're pretty much dead. This is probably it for them. No playoffs for OKC, which is a surprise because they were the 2 seed last year. Their roster significantly improved. The Oilers lost to the Orbits. So the Orbits, they're in. If they haven't clinched already, they probably have at this point. That means the 6-10 Oilers and the 6-10 Texans will battle for the division. Yes, Sean Tucker is hurt. He ended up being the backbone of your team because he got hurt in like week 3 or something. He might be back for the playoffs, though. It's not like Christian McCaffrey's injury where he's like done. So we'll double check that. The Orbits won. They're in. Good for them. Carolina loses to the Cowboys. So the Cowboys, they're pretty much locked in at 5th place. Now I'm hoping Seattle loses. That way, why did Nick Chubb get the ball 10 times? He was pretty good with those 10 carries, to be fair. If he got hurt, that's bad news. But yeah, Dallas is set at 5th place. New England, we know they lost. The Raiders beat the Vikings. Big win for the Raiders. Minnesota's probably out. The Rams lose to Seattle by 1. Seattle clinches the division for good, even with San Francisco winning. The Niners, I don't know if they're winning in. I guess it depends on what happens with the Dreadnoughts, but they very well could make it. I have 60 overall backups running the Cleveland playbook. Yeah, pretty much. The odd thing is, I feel like in a lot of your games, it's not like those backups are consistently getting like 20 carries. That's the weird part. The Ravens beat oh my goodness. All 3 of the AFC top teams lost. So we're all back to square one. The Bengals are still a game ahead of the Chargers and the Ravens. So the winner of our game between the Chargers probably decides the number 1 seed. Now, theoretically, if we lose to the Chargers and the Bills win, there's a 3-way tie, and I think it would go to the Bills. Because they would have the best conference record. I think. So we're both rooting for the Bills to lose regardless. Although if we win, it doesn't really matter for us. Steelers beat the Portland Snowhawks. Big win for the Steelers. Titans got smacked by the Broncos. Denver's 8-8. This is the most hectic Week 18 ever. Speak for yourself. I'm chilling. Thank you, Washington, again for all your help. Have we gone through everyone? Desperados beat the Colts, so the Desperados are still in position to get one of those spots. Who did we start with? We started with the Dreads. So yeah, that's everyone. Players of the week. We've got Caleb Sampson, Denton Sens, Frank, I don't really know who that is, and Nate Wiggins. So for Week 18, we've got some very interesting storylines upcoming. A lot of teams have clinched. Eagles are in. Seattle clinches the division. Bills are in. Explorers clinch the division. Orbits are in. 10 spots have been clinched officially. And we've got 4 more to go between everybody else. So in the AFC North, the Bengals, with a win, we get the number 1 seed. But it's against the Chargers. I'm guessing we can't do roster moves. The time to do that would have been before the stream, or right at the beginning. You could have still made trades. Yeah, the Oilers and Texans, the winner of that game wins the division. By the grace of God himself. The Bills, they're tied with the Orbits. I hope the Bills win their division so we don't have to see them until the conference championship. But I also don't want the Bills to win their next game because they could still pass us. Jeez, this is confusing. Chargers clinched the AFC West. They could still get the number 1 seed if they beat us. Like a no, you can switch a wide receiver to running back. You can do position changes. That's fine. Explorers clinched the division. They're going for seeding. The Dreadnoughts clinched the division with a win. Eagles are in already. They can clinch the division with some help. Desperados are in with a win. I want to bench the starters. I guess you can. Thought of me getting... Yes, you want revenge on Buffalo. You want revenge on them. Remember how they beat you last year in the bowl? Get back at them. Anyway, the Eagles, they have clinched the division. This is wrong. They can still get the number 1 seed with a win. And Dallas is probably going to get 5th. And then Seattle's playing for seeding. Okay, so this is what the playoff picture looks like as of now. 6 spots in the NFC have already been clinched, so it's only 1 more. If the Desperados win, it's them. If not, it's all the other 9-win teams. I think the Commies are out. I think the Nighthawks are out because both of you guys have 8. And the Desperados have 10. So, sorry guys, it's over. In the AFC, yeah, the Bills are listed ahead of the Chargers, and I think the Bills would pass us if they win and we lose to the Chargers. Dallas, for the love of God, please throw me a bone. The Orbits are in already, so 4 teams in the AFC have clinched. 3 spots are left. 1 will be the winner of the AFC South. Are you guys eliminated yet? I don't think so. If the Dreads win, did the Dreadnoughts play the Desperados? Hold on, I want to see that real quick. If you guys win and the Desperados lose, you're probably in, yeah, and you guys play the Monarchs. Let's double check though. Let's not get excited yet. So in the AFC, I think the Broncos are in 7th, right? It was the Raiders and then the Broncos. The Jets and Steelers are tied at 8-8 with those teams. So based on conference record, Raiders, did the Broncos beat the Jets? That might be why. Because the Jets would have the edge. Yeah, I do remember the Broncos beating the Jets now. Okay, that explains it. Does anybody else have a real shot? I guess these teams at 7 and 9, but it would take a lot. So it's probably going to be the final 2 wildcard spots between some combination of these 4. And then in the NFC, it's down to 2. It's the Desperados and the Niners. Everybody else is out. Minnesota, OKC, Washington. Better luck at OFL 24. It's down to the Desperados and the Niners. Did you guys play the Desperados by chance, Danny? Let me check. Because if you did and lost, then I've got bad news for you. Okay, they did not play. So then goes to conference record. I want to see the Niners get in. I'd be happy for Colin, though, because Colin's, like, the best. But the Niners haven't made it. I kind of want to see them get that spot. Ooh, they're tied. So then it would be common opponent. If it comes to that, we can check. I feel like we almost have to simcast every game that's, like, super important. And then, yeah, Steamer's quarterback. I'll fix it. Would you guys rather us only do, like, 2 or 3 games, or simcast every game that's, like, important? We won't simcast, like, the tank bowls. We're not simming the whole week, though. We're putting in a few simcasts. My Cade Cunningham brother, please change my running back. It was Sam Howell who we wanted. Okay, who in particular would you like at running back? Also, when is Sean Tucker back? Let me check that first. Because I think that should be soon. But how soon? He'll be back for the divisional round. Wow, he's in 97. Damn. He'll be back for the divisional round. Which is, you know, I mean, the Texans have to win 2 in a row for that to happen. Chubb status. Good question. And then we can go to the Texans real quick. That's the wrong button. We want NFL rosters. Whoever has better ball carrier vision. Got it. Let's check Chubb first because they're closer. He's fine. So he might have just gotten the ball 10 times, which is weird, but whatever. So are you saying you want the starter to be whoever has better ball carrier vision or at receiver? Between the starters, it would be Julius Bryant. Between your receivers, I imagine you mean the backups. I don't think we're putting Zach Lawler or running back. It would be Stephen Hanna. Wide receiver, okay. So Stephen Hanna it is, unless you want one of the starters, which I assume you don't. Isn't Ben Mixon like at the top? Ben Mixon and Zach Lawler are at the top of the league. That's right. Hanna is a 72. If the Broncos-Raiders tie, then you can jump them with a win, yeah. My glorious Pookie Bear, Nick Chubb is fine. The meat riding's crazy. The only person who gets Pookie Bear is Sherwin and Kate. That's it. Not Nick Chubb. All right, perfect. I assume you want Hanna to start. If only... Actually, Sean Tucker can get the Pookie Bear title, too. If only our Pookie Bear Sean Tucker didn't get hurt. Am I the worst coach ever? In terms of winning percentage, maybe. Okay, so these are all the important games. Titans Colts, baby. I think the loser of that gets the #1 pick, right? It doesn't matter because, I mean, we're not doing any more seasons. But yeah, the loser gets the #1 pick. It's the ultimate tank bowl. All right, so where do we start? Do we start with AFC seeding? Do we start with AFC wildcard? Do we start with NFC wildcard? Where do we even begin? AFC seeding first. Okay. So we'll start with the Bengals and the Chargers. Just rip off the Band-Aid. Start with the AFC because no one cares. Lands on 1. Who's the road team? The Chargers are the road team. Could this be a passing of the torch? The Chargers were one of the teams I listed that I was interested in for next year. It's not a full passing of the torch because I guess both teams are like in the playoffs. So, but in terms of regular season, yeah. All right, if the Bengals win, we get first place in the AFC for good. If we lose, then things get wacky. So if you like wacky, you should probably root for the Chargers. I like wacky, but I like my own team more. And I'd rather, if we win this game, that means we never have to go back to Buffalo. I'd never want to go back there. Okay, not good. Oh, Jesus Christ. They have it at the 11. Oh, we stopped them, and then we do nothing. Offense, please. I beg. Thank you. Okay, I don't feel good about this at all. Yikes. The offense is laying a stinker, guys. Oh, my God. We might have to go back to Buffalo. I hate my life. Yeah, this game's over. Jeez. So now the Chargers could get the #1 seed, or the Bills. Dallas, for the love of God, please win. Please. All we had to do was win one of our last 3 games to get the #1 seed, and we don't win any of them. Jeez, Daniel Godley with another stinker. He didn't turn the ball over, though. Dallas, please. I beg. I beg. This team actually got my hopes up just to rip them out of my heart. I can live with the 2 seed if we're higher than the Bills. I can live with that. I just don't want to go to Buffalo. It's not even the #1 seed that I care about. It's that I don't want to go to Buffalo. And now, if the Bills win, then there's a good shot we would see the Bills probably in the second round, if we both win. Well, if we're doing AFC seeding, we might as well do the other game. Nick, I beg. Just like with MP, I'll do whatever favor you need from me if you guys just win this game. Please. A Dallas loss means we don't... But we could get the Destiny matchup later. Actually, not entirely. Dallas is going to get 5th regardless, probably. The Dallas beat the Eagles, so they're going to get 5th no matter what. So this doesn't change anything for that. All right, Dallas, you guys lost the OFL Bowl to these guys. You need revenge. These guys beat you. Don't let them win. I think the Bills would get 1 if they won this game because they had the better conference record than the Chargers. If Dallas wins, then the Chargers get 1 and the Bills fall to 3. So I guess we wouldn't see the Bills until the conference championship anyway, but still, I do not want to go to Buffalo. I would rather play the Bills a round earlier in Cincinnati. Okay, who needs offense, right? 7-7. Not good. Joe, please wake up. Please. Thank you. Defense, I need you here. I need you here. That's not good. Pass interference, probably. No touchdowns. No touchdowns. They scored a touchdown. This team's going to get first place. That is ridiculous. 4th and 10. They punt the ball. Awesome. 3rd and 14. 25 for Devin Wilcox. Awesome. This wasn't a hop-in scenario. They were like chewing clock. They were up by 7. And they had the ball. It was not a hop-in scenario. The Bills are going to get first place. That is unbelievable. So Bills 1, Chargers 2, Bengals 3. Why? We had these guys by 3 games. We needed to win 1 game at the end of the year. 1. All we had to do was win 1 of our last 3 games. Why? How did this team get first place? They lost 6 games. Jesus, that's brutal. Least disastrous Octi-choke. Clearly. All right. Do we want AFC playoffs or NFC playoffs? It seems like everyone thinks we should start with the AFC. Let's start with the Steelers, because they're in last. They play Minnesota. Number generator lands on 1. I can't believe the Bills got the number 1 seed. How did they do that? Why did I put hope into this team? I thought we were turning a corner, guys. Nick had to screw me over one more time. It's not even that. I'm more upset that we had 3 chances to win and didn't. It should never have come down to that. The bigger issue is that we lost 3 games in a row to end the year. This is on us. This is not on Dallas losing. It's all on us. Let's watch the full Battle of Houston. I don't like Steelers' chances here. Jeez, this is a blowout. It looks like this is the end of the road for the Steelers. As Minnesota wins 36-17. So the Steelers are 8-9. Similarly with like the Nighthawks, they were good last year. They had money. They got better. And they missed the playoffs. Now I think we do the Jets. So since the I'm now just realizing, since the Raiders and Broncos play each other, they both can't win. So the Jets are in a win and in. And if they lose, then I feel like we should almost start with the other game. Little Jaw's on edge. We'll do the Jets. One of those will never see our OFL 23 teams play again. That's true. That's the case for 18 of us this week. I need Ja to join the Pain Fest. We had the ball down 7 with 6:49. In hindsight, I guess I could have. But what can you do? The only person who it hurts is me, because you're going to be the 5 seed regardless. The only team who really needed Buffalo to lose that game was us. And the Chargers. Sorry, Kevin. Eagles score very quickly. Oh, God. They want the number 1 seed. Sorry, Jets. Okay, maybe they are going to make it a game. Look at the Jets. They're winning. The Jets are winning. I kind of want to see the Jets win now. Okay, now the Eagles are back. We're going to go slower. We're not going to hop in yet. 4th and 10. Blocked! Wow, okay. Eagles get 6. Kick a field goal. We'll send the kickoff. And then we're jumping in. I want to see the Jets make the playoffs, even though I think the Jets are more likely to beat us in the first round than either the Raiders or the Broncos. Actually, never mind. The Raiders own us. I don't want to play the Raiders. I would like to play the Broncos, though. I think we would beat them. But just for the hell of it, I kind of want to see the Jets in the playoffs. Jets, 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 Jets. Five minutes to go. Up the middle for Brees. Doesn't get much. They need a touchdown. Field goal does nothing with their season probably on the line. Here's a good run for Desmond Ridder. Elijah Moore is hurt, though. That's not good. Solid play for Brees again. Solid. They gained 1. What am I thinking? Solid. Boink! Off his helmet. And now it's 3rd and 9. Probably the biggest play of the game so far. If they don't get it, obviously they have to go for it. So they're in 2-down territory. Why is he dumping it off? On 1st down, check down to Hall. 2nd down, screen for Hall. 3rd down, check down for Hall. Can we get some creativity, please? 4th and 5. If they give the ball to Brees Hall in the flat, I swear. Do not look to your right. Good. See? When you throw downfield, good things happen. Cooper Kupp to the 26. I guess the momentum being on the Eagles side, yeah, you're probably right. It probably is not helping them here. What do you say we turn the momentum off for the playoffs, guys? That way Buffalo doesn't have to be OP. But since we've had it on this whole time, I feel like we kind of have to keep it on. As much as I would love to turn it off. Believe me. 2nd and 6. Good throw up the middle. He's got it at the 2. Oh, they're close. A.T. Perry. Can they get it in here at the 2-yard line? They do. Brees Hall puts the Jets on top by 1. Imagine if Ja pulls the Seahawks. What, losing the game? Or winning the game? The Jets now have the full momentum bar. Oh, boy. All the Eagles need is a field goal, though. With the number 1 seed on the line. The Bengals have already lost their number 1 seed this week. Could the Eagles lose it as well? It's wild that both us and the Eagles have had the number 1 seed the entire stream. And now we both might lose it. Because we're both a bunch of jokers. Oh, it's intercepted! And the Jets are going to house it for a pick six. Carlton Davis. Or should I say Charlton Davis. Well, that was fast. And the Jets are up by 8. They might actually do this. I know Mahomes. There's a pick inbound. There you go. Still a one-score game, though. But now instead of the field goal, they need a touchdown and a 2. Gain of 6. He's going to throw another. That would be on brand based on what he's done in all of OFL 23. They're moving it fairly well so far. They only have a minute, though. There's another first down. Ladarius Henderson's hurt for the Eagles. That's one of their, I think he's their center. So they're going to have to use their first timeout. They've still got 2 in their back pocket, though. Mahomes, no looker. Gets him 9 or 10. I thought he wasn't looking. He very clearly looked at his receiver. It looked like he was looking upfield, though. That is a first down, and it stops the clock, more importantly. From Lucas DeWade. Wide open. Another nice play for the Eagles. They're in the red zone. Mahomes under pressure. Throws it away. That should have been a sack. That was ballsy. I would not have made that throw if I was him. 3rd and 3. They've got 2 plays and 2 timeouts. Mahomes in the end zone. They got it. Is that Dr. Doof? Dr. Doofenshmirtz with the touchdown. Now they need the 2. This is for the tie. They got it. 35-35. No need for an onside now. And the Jets are probably going to hope for a Hail Mary. If not, we're getting overtime. A tie for the Jets is as good of a win. Because assuming the Raiders and Broncos game isn't a tie, then the Jets would still pass one of them. So them tying would be more than fine. For the Jets, at least. They just can't lose. Call timeout and throw it downfield. No balls. They're not going to do it. Weak. All right, we're going to overtime. Big drive by Mahomes. They get the 8 they need. And we're going to OT. Remember, this is not the playoffs, so if you score a touchdown first, you win the game. Tails never fails, Jets. Oh. Okay, well, they pick heads. And they got it right. So the Jets are going to start with the ball. They can win it. Touchdown ends the game for New York. Tie would send them to the playoffs again, keep in mind. So the Jets could try to chew clock for 6 minutes, not score, and win. I would have picked Tails. Tails only fails 20% of the time. This is one of the 20%. Tails is still the better investment. Oh, that's not a good start. Breece Hall loses 8. That's a sack, essentially. Who would have guessed the toss play doesn't work in Madden 23? Shocking, I know. Miles Murphy makes the play. They're going to run it again. I don't like that. Breece should not have cut to the outside. Now it's 3rd and 15. Ritter fumbles it. It's picked up by the Eagles, and they get it to the 4. That means the game's pretty much over. I think the Eagles would get a number 1 seed with a tie as well. Both coaching staffs should have agreed to just tie. But that's not going to happen. Most likely. Brings it to the 1. It might be Ja over. If they lose on a toss play, that'd be so sad. Okay, good. So it looks like the Raiders and the Broncos will get those last 2 spots, and their game might not end up even mattering. 3rd and goal. He's not it. I bet you they're going to go for it. This game is so predictable. This game is so predictable. They haven't been able to punch it in on 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down. Okay, they got it. So the Eagles score with a game-winning touchdown because they wanted to get cute. Amon-Ra St. Brown gives the Eagles the number 1 seed. Remember when we had the Colts go for it on a 4th down in the playoffs in OFL 21? They didn't, and they lost the game to the champs. That was funny. Have the Steelers played yet? Yes, and I have bad news, bud. You lost. So the Eagles are the 1 seed, and it looks like the Jets are out, bearing some voodoo, tiebreaker, whatever. So it looks like the Raiders are in and the Broncos are in. Please do not let us play the Raiders. Please. Can we do my game and the Rados game? I think we can work that out. Who do we start with? We'll start with the Desperados game. Now that it's a little less important for the Dreadnoughts since they cannot get the number 1 seed, they can still get the division, though. They haven't clinched the division, is what I mean to say. Lands on 2. So this game is still very important for the Dreads. It's the difference between 2nd place and like 5th or 6th place. I guess now that I think about it, Dallas did not officially clinch 5th. Because the Dreadnoughts could take 5th from them if the Eagles win the division. Join the couch of disappointing teams. That's a big couch. If Austin wins, they are the 7th seed. If they lose, it's up to the Niners. San Antonio leads 3-0. Dreadnoughts win the division with a win. And it looks like they're probably going to win this game. They're up by 20. Yeah, San Antonio's got this game on wraps. I'm just realizing that the AFC West, the division that we've been laughing at all year, is probably going to have 3 playoff teams. Good for them. All right, San Antonio wins the division. They will officially be 2nd place in the NFC. As for the Desperados, they no longer fully control their own fate. If San Francisco wins, they'll both be 10-7, and then it goes to common opponents. And the Niners play the Monarchs, who they should beat. Now remember last year when the Niners had fate in their own hands, they lost. As it lands on 2. Are the Niners home? Yes. EA is confirmed racist if Danny wins. Don't remind you of the... Oh, believe me, I don't like remembering that either, because that meant the Raiders won, and then the Raiders beat us. I think the Raiders actually would have made the playoffs anyway, so I guess it didn't matter for their sake. All right, the Niners have to win. If they lose, then the Desperados get the final spot in the NFC. If the Niners win, then they're tied at 10-7, and it goes to common opponents. Niners start off quick. They're doing their part. They lead 10-0. Monarchs are trying to bring themselves back in it, and they do. We're tied at 10. Into the 3rd quarter. Niners score quick. Monarchs get them right back. Niners out a field goal. This game looks pretty good. We'll go slower. 3rd and 15. Sack for JT to Imoluau. Colin he's not mixed. He's, I think, just black. We're going to simcast this drive based on what happens here. We'll hop in. In other words, if the Niners don't score a touchdown, which they do, A.J. Brown puts them up by 10. We'll continue to sim. Can the Niners finish off the job? Not on that play. Ja'Cory Brooks gets 25. Roll Tide. We can't have an all-white playoffs. T. Higgins puts it within 3. They did not go for the onside. Interesting. We'll simulate through this drive since they're chewing clock. Can the Niners finish off the job? It looks like they will. 3rd and inches does it for good. Why'd they... Oh, he just knelt it. Okay, never mind. They're fine. San Francisco wins 27-24. So everything the Niners needed to happen here in Week 18 has happened, and now it comes down to record against common opponents. Justin Pope, pretty solid game. Phil Chippendale was also pretty good. Who is Travion Cooley? I don't know, but he just won you the game. Can I make a KKK joke? DM it to me, and I'll let you know how bad. Did that say 5? Jalen Phillips had 5 sacks. That's a lot. All right, let's start with Smirnov. He is fine. Jamal Adams is not fine, but he will be fine for the playoffs. If they make it, which there's a solid chance they do. Okay. Let's see how many common opponents there are. I'm going to write this down. Just so I have it all down pat. Actually, that's going to take too long. Never mind. We'll just try to remember. Okay, so that's the Niners. That's the Desperados. I kind of don't feel like counting all of that up. That takes too long. Wait, the Rados only had 5 wins in the NFC? Oh, never mind. You're right. Then it wouldn't matter. Hold on. If that's the case, then yes, you would be correct. I thought they had the same record. Oh, nope, you're right. Niners should be in. Okay, so we know the NFC wildcard situation, or we think we do. We think we have the AFC down pat, minus the game of the week between the Texans and the Oilers. I think that's the last game we need to simcast. Because the Broncos and Raiders should both be in regardless. Yeah, I think that's the last one. Best for last. It lands on 2. That's the Oilers. I'm going to be more especially willing to hop into this game since it's so important for both teams. But we're not going to watch the whole thing. Sorry. One more playoff spot is up for grabs. The 6-10 Texans against the 6-10 Oilers in the battle for Houston. The winner will presumably play against the Orbits, probably in the first round. You mean watch the whole thing, 15-minute quarters, no accelerated clock? That sounds like a banger of a time. The Texans won their first game since week 9 last week, while the Oilers have been hobbling around with 6 wins of their own. Close start. Both offenses looking good early. We're tied at 7. Texans get a stop. They had a field goal. Houston's ahead by 3 going into the second half. They get a touchdown. They get a field goal. The Texans look like they're in a good spot. They're up by 13 points. Another score on this drive might about be the dagger. And there you go. They missed the extra point, though. Yeah, I think this game is over. The Houston Texans, who lost a bajillion games in a row, are making the playoffs with a record of 7-10. Have we ever had a double-digit loss team make the playoffs in OFL history? I don't think we have. And the good news for the Texans, they've been without Sean Tucker for most of the year. He'll be back in the divisional round if they get out of the first round. So tank division concludes. Technically not, because the Titans and Colts still have to play, and the loser gets the #1 pick. Stephen Hanna at running back did not play too well. But, I mean, it didn't matter, clearly. Did Rashawn Gary have another one of those games? That'd be funny if he did. No, he didn't. He only had one. 2 interceptions, though, for Tre'Davious White. The Texans are making the playoffs, and I'm not. To be fair, you only finished 1 game ahead of them. So, it's not like you got fully robbed over them. So I don't think we really have to simcast any other game. So I think that means we can simulate. Boom. Alrighty. We'll start off in the standings. Let's take a look at everybody who has officially clinched. The Bills got the #1 seed because of course they did. I figured that'd be the case. We're not simming Denver and Vegas because they both should get in. In the AFC North, Bengals win the division. We've been in the #1 seed the whole time, and we end up in third place because this team's a bunch of chokers. In the AFC South, it's the Texans, and only the Texans. At 7-10, they won 2 games to finish off the year, and they got it. In the AFC East, Bills are the #1 seed. Orbits are 5th, while the Broncos beat the Raiders. So that means we play against Denver. Good. And then the Raiders will play against the Chargers. In the NFC, the Explorers win the division. The Dreadnoughts win the South. The Eagles get a wild card spot. The Desperados don't. You know what that means, San Francisco. Eagles get #1. Dallas is 5th. Seattle wins the West. And the San Francisco 49ers get the final spot with a 4-game win streak to finish out the season. AFC is so Mickey Mouse. It sure is, buddy. So we've got the Chargers and the Raiders, the Bengals and the Broncos, the Texans and the Orbits, the Dreadnoughts and the Niners, the Seahawks and the Geagles, sorry Todd, and then the Explorers and the Cowboys with the Eagles and the Bills as the #1 seeds. Let's take a brief look at the other Week 18 scores. So the Colts beat the Titans. Tennessee gets the #1 pick. Portland beats Baltimore. New England beats the Orbits. Not that that really mattered. OKC beats Columbus. Washington beats the Cougars. Denver, as we know, beat the Raiders. Memphis beats the Rams. Carolina beats the Eagles, and Mexico still gets in. Seattle kills Detroit, and then we went through everything else. Players of the week, Patrick Mahomes, Trey Lance with 3 rushing touchdowns, Jalen Carter, and obviously Jalen Phillips. All right, let's take a look at stats for everybody. Starting with the Bengals. Houday, nearly 5,000 yards for Daniel Godley. His numbers definitely took a step off from last year, though. How many sacks did Josh Allen have? 17.5. 18 for Garrett. 13.5 for Fanu Olurosu. Jesus Christ, guys. 4 double-digit sack getters. Love it. Isaiah Thomas quietly had a really good year. He played very well down the stretch to get the Bills first place with their Mickey Mouse luck. Micah Parsons had 26 sacks. That's a lot. Trey Lance only threw 4 interceptions. Hopefully he throws 4 more this week. Here are the Chargers, who were one of the bigger surprises this year, getting the 2 seed in the AFC, in large part of their win over the Bengals to end the year. 14 sacks for Stephen Chamberlain. He broke out. The Colts are not good, so we'll try to make it through them quickly. Kenneth Walker might have won the rushing title, though. Drop teams already. We don't have teams decided. There's nothing to drop. Here's Washington. Disappointing season for the Commies. Only missed out by 1 game, though. But they were just too up and down. The Cougars. They had some good moments. But no cigar. Steelers are starting Mason Rudolph. Mike Tomlin, you are unserious, buddy. Wait, what were Nick Chubb's numbers? I didn't see. Not bad. Not bad at all. He also had 825 receiving yards. Welcome to the Panthers playbook, guys. TJ Watt had a great year. The Desperados had a very strong season. Kyler Murray had a great year. They ultimately fell short of the playoffs. But got to give Colin credit. He completely flipped this roster over the offseason, and it almost worked, despite starting off like 0-3. They just struggled too much at the beginning of the year, and they struggled too much at the end of the year. Jalen Hurts might be the MVP. Those numbers are ridiculous. 3,000-yard receivers, and Justin Jefferson. 3 double-digit sack getters as well. The Eagles, 14-3, number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Albeit they'll be without Christian McCaffrey, who played really well before he got hurt. Dr. Duth had 1,000 yards. That's fun. DJ Reed, 5 interceptions. The Explorers, they won their division. So the Explorers are going to be the only team who won the NFC North multiple times, because everybody else won that division once. The Explorers won playoff appearance. They lost to Dallas in the first round as the 4-5 game, and they get to do it again. Frank is trying to he's trying to blow your head out? Whoa, now that I said that sounds so weird out of context. Never mind. I take that back. The Eagles. When will they not finish in like 6th place? At least they get to play Seattle. Which, to no offense to Seattle, they're very good, but Todd doesn't exactly have Hector's number. Jets, 40 touchdowns for Desmond Ritter. Philip Luris, the rookie tight end with 1,000 yards. Jadeveon Clowney had 15.5 sacks. My goodness. Caleb Williams threw 20 picks. That's a lot. And you guys think Daniel Godley was a waste of the number 1 pick. The other guys haven't exactly been much better. Justin Taylor quietly had a good season. 3,000-yard receivers for the Monarchs. I remember when London was 3-0. That was fun. And then they won 3 games the rest of the year. Their leading sack getter had 3. Goodness. Micah Parsons had like doubled the amount of sacks that entire team had. Travis Flight threw 18 interceptions. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be on the MVP ballot. He had too many really bad games at the end of the year. Oilers, shout out to them for staying in it the whole year, even though that was only because their division was balls. It's nice being in constant playoff contention year after year. How many teams have now made the playoffs every season? We have. The Bills have. It looked like the Texans weren't, but they have. I don't think anybody in the NFC's made it every year, though. Dallas, no. Seattle missed in season 1 as well. The Dreadnoughts might have. The Geagles have made it every year. Because of course they have. I think the Dreadnoughts might have missed it once. Maybe. Just one more time than the Geagles can say. And I think other than those two and then the big three in the AFC, I don't think anybody else would have been perfect. You trying to suck on my finger? Okay. Denton sends at 5,000 yards as a rookie. The Raiders had 4,000-yard receivers. How often has that happened? I know the Browns did it last year. Right? Didn't you guys do that last year, Nick? Didn't you get 4? Caleb Sampson quietly had a pretty good season. The MVP rush season, yeah, you guys had 4. Wow. Chase, Waddle, Smith, and Browns legend Tommy Tremble. Why does Nick always get tight end luck? First Tommy Tremble, then Greg Dulcich. What is the obsession with EA making his young tight ends good? Lamar's done it twice? Huh. I didn't realize he got 4. Did we do the Snowhawks yet? I don't think we did. Good year for Boobie Hamilton. In the Tampa playbook. That makes sense. Shout out the Bucks. Don't forget Evan Ingram in 21. Yeah, you're right. I feel like I remember him having X Factor. We finally have a quarterback go for 40 touchdowns, 3 1,000-yard receivers, a guy with 15 and a half sacks, and you still miss. I'm sorry, buddy. Hayden Callaway quietly had a very good season. His team only won 8 games, but... All right, a few more to go. Lamar's numbers are probably the lowest they've ever been. This might be the first time he's not an MVP candidate. Three guys with at least 13 and a half sacks. A handful of teams with 3 double-digit sack guys. Only one is 4, though. Who dey? Aiden Turkey with a great year. Devin Duvernay was very good, too. Bengal legend. Who dey? Even though he was only on our team for, I feel like 3 games, maybe. All right, let's check league leaders. Yards winner was Jalen Hurts. Touchdown winner was Dak Prescott by a lot. Interception champ, Caleb Williams. Passer rating, the highest among starters, Hayden Callaway. Wow. Who had the worst? Carson Michaels, followed by Walt Byron, the 2 rookies. Nick Chubb ends up being the rushing champ. He also probably led all running backs in receiving, but Josh Jacobs was also a lot more efficient. So you can and then 4 fumbles to 0. I mean, did he lead the league in fumbles amongst running backs? No, he led amongst all players. Not even just running backs. Nicholas, what are we doing with the ball, man? So I think you can certainly make a case for either one of those guys. I guess based on Josh Jacobs' receiving numbers. He was more efficient. He didn't fumble. But Chubb also had more yards, and he certainly had more receiving yards. Although we can check Josh Jacobs' receiving numbers. I kind of want to check Najee's too. Marcus Wiggins had 1,000 yards at running back. I don't think I've ever seen a running back at 1,000 receiving yards in this game. That's the wrong button. Here, let's check Najee and let's check Josh Jacobs. Okay, yeah, Jacobs' receiving numbers are severely behind Nick Chubb. And Najee's are as well. But Chubb also had 4 more fumbles, and the 2 of them combined. Did we do touchdowns already? I think we did. Amon-Ra had the most. Congratulations, Eagles opponents. You have been Amon-Ra St. Clown. The sack champ, Demario Portis and Peter Skoronski with 21. And then on defense, in the AFC, John Franklin Myers had the most tackles for loss. The sack champ was obviously Micah Parsons. And then Tre'Davious White and Fred Warner had 6 interceptions. White only had 71 tackles. Did he miss time, or was he just that good in coverage? Nope, he was just that good. NFC. Tackle for loss leader, TJ Watt with 24. That's the most in the league. Sacks, Josh Sweat with 18. Good for him. And then interceptions, 5 for James Bradford, Kyle Hamilton, Jordan Fuller, DJ Reed, and Asante Samuel. Any perfect kickers? No. Four Eyes was the only one to not miss a field goal, but he missed an extra point. Sorry, Four Eyes. Yearly awards. They give Dak the MVP. We're still going to have our own awards ballot, by the way. That'll be up within the next 24 hours. Coach of the Year, Nick Nader. Seems reasonable. Did you have anyone? I think Rashawn Gary was pretty high. Per usual. Kelvin Pickney, the Offensive Player of the Year over Jacobs. That's wrong. This is foul. I did not realize Pickney was a 99, but that is foul. Who led in sacks amongst... We can do team stats after awards. I would have to assume it was us. I would hope. We had 4 guys with double digits. Micah Parsons, Depoy. Makes sense. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Denton Sens. Defensive Rookie of the Year's got to be Fanu Oloroso. It is. That means he might have X Factor for the OFL Bowl, if we make it. Which I guess wouldn't matter because, A, we would have to beat the Bills in Buffalo. And even if we do, or if somebody else beats them, or whatever, he probably wouldn't be one of our 3 X Factors anyway. Ben Mixon, best wide receiver. Who is Johnny Hunt? I've never seen that guy's name in my life. Micah Parsons, best defensive lineman. Best linebacker, Harold Landry. Best DB, Shaq Griffin. I feel like it should be Trey White, but okay. Best kicker, Cairo Santos. And then in the NFC, Nick Chubb, Offensive Player of the Year. Depoy, TJ Watt, Cowboys sweep. Danny Blaze wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year. So what we're doing with the playoff games is we're going to simcast all of them. If they're good, we're going to hop in, and then in a separate stream, we're going to watch the OFL Bowl. Who won the best QB? Dak. Okay, that makes sense, because they gave him the MVP. Amon-Ra, best wide receiver. Yeah, congratulations to those who don't like Simcast. I'm sorry for your loss. All right, let's check team stats out. Most offensive yards is Dallas. Least offensive yards is the Titans. That makes sense. Most passing yards is the Dreads. Least is the Broncos. The Titans had 717 rushing yards, while the Broncos led. Points, the Eagles had the most. Least is the Titans. Wow, their offense just reeks. Most passing touchdowns is the Eagles, least is the Broncos. Most rushing touchdowns is the Eagles and the Bengals. 32 is a ridiculous amount. How do you get 32 rushing touchdowns? Hold on. I have to see this. Because Jacobs only had like 20. If that. Frank Gore Jr. had 9. Okay. Anyway. 3-way tie for the most. Least is the Lions. Defense. Bengals with the number 1 defense in the league. That's cool. The most amount of yards allowed is Carolina. Best passing defense was the Steamers. Worst was the Colts. Best rushing defense is the Bills. Worst is the Titans. So the Titans just hate every aspect of running the ball. The Bengals allowed the least amount of points. I think we definitely had the best point differential. I mean, winning 63-7 will help with that. Panthers will have the most sacks. It's the Bills by 9? I'm surprised by that. Okay. I would have thought it would have been us. I guess Micah Parsons getting 26 will do that, whereas we didn't have anybody with more than 18. I guess that makes sense now that I think about it. We had 0 fumble recoveries. Jeez. Interceptions. Titans and Commies had the least. Most is the Niners and the Bills. Conversions. The Eagles were the best team on third down by a lot. And the worst is the Titans. So the Titans were just the worst team. Fourth down. Washington and the Eagles were the best. Worst is Seattle. 2 points. There you go. Red zone. The Snowhawks had the most efficient red zone offense. Them and the Steamers very clearly at the top. The worst was the Orbits. Interesting. The Orbits had the worst red zone offense, but they had the best red zone defense, along with the Eagles and the Nighthawks. While the worst was the Lions. Penalties. Niners had the least amount of yards and the least amount of penalties. Most is the Texans and the Chargers, although the Texans were tied with the Rams. Turnovers. Bills had the best best turnover differential, not points. What am I thinking? Well, we had 0, and we still won 11 games. Worst is the Nighthawks. Takeaway leaders were the Bills. Least was Washington. Giveaway leaders were the Lions. Least was the Broncos. All right, we'll check injuries, and then that will just about wrap things up. Orbits, nothing. Raiders, Devontae Knox, broken wrist. Seahawks, Amari Cooper, torn labrum. That's a big deal. Texans, Sean Tucker's out for 1 more week. Bengals, nothing. Bills, nothing. Broncos, nothing. Chargers, nothing. Cowboys, Armani Goodwin, out for 2 weeks. Dreadnoughts, Derek Brown out for 2 weeks. That's a pretty big deal. Eagles, nothing new. Explorers, nothing. Niners, nothing. Eagles. Zach Kuntz is obviously out for the year. We already know that. And that's it. All right, so that just about does it here. Weeks 10 through 18 in the books. We've got 1 more playoff run to go through. The plan as of now is that we are going to go through the entirety of the playoffs other than the OFL Bowl on Wednesday. Then, probably Friday, we would do the OFL Bowl, and then we'll have the long-term sim within a day or 2 after that. And then obviously next week is the OFL 24 Fantasy Draft. So far the schedule is holding up, and I see no reasons why we won't continue to have it hold up. So I hope everybody enjoyed another regular season in the books. The award ballot should be up within the next, again, give or take 24 hours. So that's the plan. Peace out.